really like music, like, and I really like phrases, and I really like just trying to communicate to the audience what I think the composer means. And maybe I'm pretty eccentric and aggressive about it, which I think is cool. I'm down with it now. When I was in school, basically every time I'd play in studio class, people were like, stop breathing so loudly, and like stuff like that was a comment that I got a lot. And I think school is a place where you're trying to figure out how to be correct and be as good as possible, for lack of a better term. You're sort of striving towards some kind of ideal, which is really, really complicated to figure out. And as I've left school, as I've been out in the real world, I've discovered more and more that the reason that people want to work with me, or the reason that composers are interested in writing for me, is because I don't play like perfect, or don't play like some kind of really, what's the word, like sanitized ideal of, like what viola is supposed to sound like. I play like I play, and I make phrases the way that I do, and I sort of go over the top a lot of the times, and I'm trying to be very communicative and all these kinds of things. And I think that's what makes me an interesting player, honestly. But it took me a while to get there, because you're sort of shamed into this sort of orchestra excerpt mentality of playing when you're in school, especially an institution like I went to for 6 years. It's like, that better be clean, and that better be right, and that better be in time, and you better be making an appropriate sound and like have your style correct, Whereas I think that's what's really freeing about only commissioning stuff and only playing stuff that's been being written for you. You don't have the burden of like 250 years of performance practice. It's just whatever I want to do. And so in a way, like, commissioning all these pieces is very, very, very selfish, but I love it. And it just means that I feel super free to figure out what I think the music is doing and just try to communicate that as clearly as possible to the audience. Like a weirdly corporate sounding mission statement, which I feel comfortable expressing, which is that my job is, my everything that I do, and it's a lot of varied things, is in the service of bringing new music to new audiences. And I feel like if there's an access point of something that makes sense to you, in other words, contemporary music, something being written by somebody your age to a certain extent, because we all watched the same television, went to the same movies, heard the same radio, whatever, there's going to be some kind of vernacular entry point. And then let's work backwards. Let's not start with the Baroque period for people that have no idea what to do. Let's start with something that makes sense. But also, I just think that what's being written right now is really, really awesome. And obviously classical music's awesome. So there's a real opportunity here, and it excites me. And I feel like you should do the thing that gets you most juiced in the world. And for me, playing brand new pieces for viola gets me most juiced in the world. So I'm gonna try to do that, make it make sense. grew up so classical, and I love it. Like, I love it. I love concerts. I love the, like, bizarre ritual of them. There's nothing better than going to the Met Opera and, like, you know, dressing up and having funny drinks and like having a million intermissions and seeing something great in a really fancy setting. There's nothing better than, you know, going to the orchestra and like just the whole ritual of it is awesome. I'm also, like, my mom's an Episcopal priest. There's something liturgical about that I totally dig. I love liturgy. I love like that whole stuff. So I'm definitely one for ceremony and fuss and pomp and all that stuff. There's a similar kind of ceremony and fuss to non-classical shows as well, and that's also really, really exciting. I basically would love to find an access point for the kind of music that I do that is just not intimidating for people. But I don't think it should be not serious or not taken seriously, because I mean, all that stuff is really, really important. So it's just a matter of, yeah, I'm not about tear down the classical establishment at all. I think that if we can get a whole bunch of people to listen to what's going on in a place that they feel comfortable, then a whole bunch of people are going to want to go to orchestra concerts because they're awesome, because it's really fun. It's a whole thing that you can do. So I'm mostly about sort of getting like steps 1 through 4 completed, and then steps 5 through 78 can be somebody else's job, I think.